American institutions. And then the 7 units is coming from foundations, lower division GE, and then exploration, upper division GE. Okay, yes?
So these are all kind of like separate maximums for like each separate thing you're talking about. It's like,
Well, if
so when you're talking about GE, there's only max 12 units in that one thing. But then if you're talking about, I just need a little bit more clarification.
So when I say all of GE, you can't take more, let's use anthropology as our example. You can't take more than 12 units across all of GE. So when I say all of GE, I'm talking about communication, critical thinking, foundations, American institutions, and explorations. Okay? And then the next rule is 10 units. No more than 10 units across the 3, foundations, American institutions, explorations. And then the 7 units is no more than 7 units across foundations, explorations. Does that make sense? We're going to go through some examples, so it might start to click as we go through those. Yes?
So what happens if you exceed that then for number 2 and 4
It
for
won't count.
anthropology?
So let's say you took 2 courses in foundations. You took 2 anthropology courses. You took an Anthro 101 for your science, and you took an Anthro 103 for your social and behavioral. And then if that student tries to go take an upper division anthropology for their upper division GE, will it count? No, because they've exceeded the maximum unit. So it will not clear on their degree evaluation. They'll have to go take a different course. Does that make sense? Perfect. Yes.
Does web portal or anything give you an indication that you're like?
No. That's why I'm teaching this to you, because we have to teach the students. Yeah. So all of that information is on page 92, and we do go through it in the degree requirements presentation, but that's why we're teaching you this, because we need you to be able to be reminding you students of these rules. Otherwise, they'll forget. Okay? Good so far? Awesome. All right. So, we used that example already. Okay, so now let's look at some more examples. So let's turn to page 263. For the geography major, we're looking in the prep for major. So the prep for a geography major includes Geography 101. So this is 3 units that will satisfy the GE physical science and major prep. The Geog 101 lab is 1 unit that will satisfy the GE lab science. Then they need Geography 102 or Geography 106. This is 3 units that will satisfy the GE social science. And then they need Geography 104, 3 units that will satisfy GE math. So we can always double dip with major prep courses in the lower division GE. However, these courses are going to exceed the max of 7 units of geography in the foundations area. So no more than 7 units from one department. This will exceed that. So the student will have to take an additional course that's not from geography from one of those areas to complete the GE foundations. But remember that footnote, they cannot take Anthropology 101, right? Because only one of those is allowed in science. So it's really important to be aware of the maximums and the limitations. Any questions so far? Okay. Can this student, so let's say they go ahead and take something else in the lower division, non-geography. Could they take geography, upper division, and explorations? No, why not? There's 2 reasons. It exceeds the units, and what's the second reason?
It's the major.
It's from the major department, that's exactly right. So first of all, it's from their major department, they can't do that. And second of all, they've already maxed that 7 units. All right, let's look at some more examples. Okay, so let's turn to page 388, we're looking at political science. So we're looking at the prep for major, and we see that it requires Political Science 101. This is 3 units that will satisfy GE American institutions. It requires Political Science 103. This is 3 units that will satisfy GE social science. it requires political science 201, which is 3 units of GE math. So we're using major preparation courses in the lower division GE, and as of right now, that's 9 units of political science courses. So what max rule are we using? What max rule are we gonna use? We're using the max rule of 10, right? Because 3 units are gonna satisfy American institutions, 3 units will satisfy GE social sci, and 3 units GE math. So we get to go to the 10 units, because American institutions is included in that. So they're within the units, they're at 9. Now for their upper division explorations, could they take an upper division political science course? No, 2 reasons why. It's in the major is the first reason, and then the second? They're already maxed, that's right, they'd go over the 10 units. Yes?
Okay, so when we're talking about the maximum, so it's just basically based on your major and the preps that you need to take is when you would go to like see how many, like which maximum units you go off of? Like, I just don't understand how you're like, okay, so now we're at max 10 units. Like, how do you figure? Just because it's talking about those specific?
Because so this is the rule, it doesn't even matter if it's not in your prep. A student can take no more than 12 units from one department across all of GE, okay? No more than 10 units across those 3 areas, and no more than 7 units across those 2 areas. So when we're looking at those major preps, you can see, like in the example, okay, we have the American institutions, a lower division, 2 lower division GEs that are major prep requirements, and they're also satisfying GEs. So we know to go to the 10 unit max rule, because American institutions is involved, right? Does that make sense? And then the geography, we stayed in the foundations, because all of those major prep courses also meant GE, but we maxed the 7 units. Let me take a couple more questions and we'll see if that clicks.
And so this excludes, like this limit excludes like the outside your major portions that count towards your major. Like I know for example for like political science, if you take Women's Studies 375 and it would count towards your major, but you're also taking that as a GE, and that does not fit into this.
Okay, what we're talking about with max units is max units in one department.
Just one part.
So
So
yeah,
it's-
just that
okay,
department,
okay.
you got it, yeah, yeah. Perfect, yes.
So for the max 10 units for foundations, American institutions, and explorations, is that max 10 units in each of those, or across all 3?
Across all 3.
Across all 3.
Yeah, so, like, wait. Each of those.
Like, is it max 10 units in one department between foundations, American institutions, and explorations, or is it for each of those 3? So you can do max 10 units in one department for
Oh, no, all
foundations,
3,
max
all
10
3.
units in-
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can't separate them out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
You couldn't take 30 units of political science and have it count. Okay, perfect. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah.
If there's a situation where you get AP credit as well, is that also going to count as?
Yeah, if it covered GE. So, so this is talking about, so again, just to kind of explain the concept. The reason that we want you to be taking, the reason we have these rules, we have maximum units in one department across GE, and we have these different tiers, is that we don't want a student taking all of the same courses. Okay, because it's general education. So the whole concept of general education is not to be in that little box like you are with your major courses, right? You're a chemistry student, you're taking a lot of chemistry, a lot of sciences. We don't want that with GE. We want you to take a little bit of everything. Yes?
And then, sorry, just for further clarification, this is for both undergraduate and graduate, general education, right?
No.
Oh, sorry, like lower division and upper division.
Oh, lower, yes.
Yeah, sorry, lower and upper.
Lower and upper, yeah. So the explorations and the foundations are when the lower and upper come in. So all of these rules include both the lower division and the upper division. Yeah, it's a great question. Anything else on that? Is it clicking?
A little bit, I don't know.
So what about it? Can you
I just don't like that it's like max 12 for all general education, but then it brings in the separate of the max 10 and the max 7. And then when you put those together, it's like, I know this isn't really like the same thing, but then there's like 17 units that are like in max things. So I'm just like having
No,
trouble
no,
with like
don't
separating
add
out.
them, don't add them.
Okay.
All right,
So-
here, let's do this. All right. So flip to page 92. Yeah,
Could I say something about that? Because I know I had a lot of trouble with that when I first
please,
started.
thank you.
So the way I like to think about the max 10 rules is that as you add on more departments to it, you can expand the number of units you can take on from one thing. So since you only are doing 2 sections of your general ed, that's why you have such a small limit of units. It's only 7. Once you add in American institutions, now you can take an extra 3 units from that one department. And when you add in your critical thinking and the rest of it, then you can expand another 3 or another 2 units, you know? So it kind of just adds on.
So these maximums are just like when you're talking about those certain things. Like if you're not talking about whatever, it doesn't matter. So I'm only talking about foundations, explorations. So I don't have to worry about the max 7.
Let me
Yeah,
take
you're
a
only
stab at it.
worried
Let
about
me take a
the
stab at it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Let's turn to page, I'm gonna take this one step further. Let's turn to page 92. Okay. And our student, we'll say me, I'm gonna take Africana Studies 140. Okay? So what area is that?
Oral communication.
You with me?
Yeah.
Alright. So, okay, that's one class from Oral Communication and Africana Studies. And now, we're gonna speed ahead, and in Social and Behavioral Sciences, I am going to take Africana Studies 101. Okay? How many units am I at now? I'm at 6 units. Okay. I am also going to take, in Humanities, I'm gonna take Africana Studies 260. Clearly like Africana Studies. I should probably minor in it, right? Okay. So, how many units am I at? I'm at 9 units. And then, for my American Institutions, I am going to take an Africana Studies course. How many units am I at? I'm at 12. Am I within the rules? Yeah, because it's the max 12 units, right? Now, let's say I am a psychology major, and I go and I take an Africana Studies upper division for my GE explorations. Will it count? No. Why? I'm already above the 12, okay? So now let's drop down to the 7. So we're looking at foundations and explorations. So we're only looking at lower division GE and upper division GE. So I take Africana Studies 260 for my humanities. I then take Africana Studies 320 for my social and behavioral. And then for my humanities, I took Africana Studies 365A. How many units am I at? I'm at 9. Will it work? No, because it's only across these 2 areas, so I exceeded my maximum. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes.
So say you took all those general education courses and African studies, and you do decide that you want to minor in it. Retroactively, can you minor and then have those classes count?
The courses will never count in the GE, even if it's a minor. Yeah, because you have exceeded the max units. But they will count for your minor. Yep, they just won't count for GE. Yep, that's a great question, yeah.
Will they count up to 12 or they won't count at all?
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, whatever rule you're in. So like Javier was saying as his example, if you added another area, so you maxed this, but then you add American institutions, and then you added your communication, then you get to hold in the 12.
But then once you pass that, like those ones are fine, but then the additional ones are like,
It would just be for the minor.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't go towards the GE anymore, because you've already maxed the rule. Yes.
It says that upper division courses in the major cannot satisfy GEs, right? Does that count for minors too?
We're gonna talk about that in a different session.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions on that? Alright, let's take a 5-minute break, so you can be back at 4:10.